This is Coach's Corner. I'm Randy Farris, the head coach at Central Academy of Excellence.
And I'm Eric King, the head coach at Washington High School in Kansas City, Kansas.
And today we're going to discuss a topic that's close to Cascade Sports, because Cascade Sports is the home of the student athlete. Today we're going to talk about college recruiting, and we're going to break it down on some levels and talk a little bit about the experiences we've had with our student athletes. So Coach, let's start with academics. How do academics fit into this whole scheme of things?
Well, academics really fits in well with me because being a teacher, I was not a kid that grew up in the inner city that didn't want to get his academics. From high school, I was an honor student. When I graduated from college, I had a 3.2. When I had my master's degree, when I graduated with a 3.6. So I always took pride in being a young black kid that could get his grades and also play on the basketball court. And one thing I see today, being a teacher, like I was saying, that a lot of these kids don't take their academics as seriously. A lot of kids think out there just because I can put a ball in the basket or I can run for 5 touchdowns that's all I need to do. And I want these kids to understand that is not all that they are looking for. College recruiters are looking for talent almost last, Coach. What they want when they come in, they want to talk to your teachers. What kind of young man, what kind of young lady is this? Are they responsible? Or do they get good grades? Or are they just some knucklehead that runs around and gives teachers all kind of problems? One thing at Washington I always tell my kids, you have to act the part. You can't be in class all day giving your teachers all kind of problems and think when the bell rings, now all of a sudden I can be this angel because now I'm on the court. Because one thing I want you guys to understand, when college recruiters first come to see you, they'll talk to your coaches, but they want to talk to your teachers. They're not going to give you a $70,000, $80,000 scholarship or more to come to their university and have them on ESPN because you're doing something that you knew you shouldn't have been doing. Or you're academically ineligible. When we need you to play to make it to the Final Four, this person can't play because first semester they didn't go to class and get their grades. So you young people have got to understand that your grades must come first. Okay, I don't care how good you are, who you think you are. If you don't have that grade point average that can pass your ACT, okay, those standardized tests, you're not going to go as far as your dreams want you to. Okay, what do you think, Coach? How do you feel over there?
One of the things I've told players over the years, and I'm kind of a simple guy, and I try to simplify everything down so that I can understand it, therefore they'll understand it, but to me this is really simple. You can't be a college player if you're not a college student. They require you to enroll.
Right.
And so I tell all of my players, you have got to get to the point where you can, on every level, handle college academics. And that includes being able to do well on standardized tests, of course, but you also have to have the skills in the classroom that you work so hard to develop on the basketball court. One of my proudest accomplishments, and I've had a player make the NBA, and I've had a lot of players play pro overseas and a lot of things like that. But one of my proudest accomplishments is when I was at Grandview, we had kids that went to the University of Missouri at Rolla, Rose Holman, which people around here haven't heard of, but it's one of the leading engineering schools in the country, Kansas State, and the University of Missouri engineering schools. I've had 6 kids graduate and are now working in the engineering field from Grandview High School in Grandview, Missouri. I'm really proud of that.
That's as you should be.
And I don't think a lot of people know how much we coaches want our kids to work on academics. I've also been coaching for, this will be my 44th year. I've had one NBA player. I bragged about that a little bit earlier in this segment. I've had one NBA player. So the question is, what are all the rest of them doing?
Right.
And I hope that they're doing well, because we stress the academics all along and stress the fact that you cannot be a college player unless you're a college student. So Coach, what about changing the teachable spirit of our players? Is there any things that we can do to try to get that done?
One thing I try to do at Washington, every day I try to be the most positive teacher in the building. And everybody will tell you that. I'm always telling my kids to go to class, get your grades. I mean, this is in the hall during passing period. But one thing that we have to have, though, to be honest with you, Coach, is the parents. As a parent myself, you have to ingrain that in your child from when they first start school, almost, at least 2nd, 3rd grade. So therefore, by the time they get done with elementary and they get into middle school and they kind of start playing sports, and then when they get to high school, they already have it ingrained that I have to be a good student first. See, a lot of times us as parents, we don't ingrain that in our kids, so they're just thinking as long as I can play, I'm good. And I can honestly say this, I've never had one of my basketball players not graduate. I'm not on your level yet, but I've never had any of them not graduate. Even my son or daughter. My son graduated. He was National Honor Society. My daughter just graduated. She has an academic scholarship down to her junior college down in Independence where she's going, and basketball. She finished with a 4.0 last year, this previous year, just graduated. So I ingrained that in them when they were little. If we can start ingraining that in them when they're little, and then when they get to your school, have everybody just have a positive environment around it, telling the kids, you are worthy. That's the reason why I love telling kids you are worthy. Because a lot of kids with their environments today, they have so many other things that would tell them you'll never be a nobody unless you're doing drugs, or unless you're running around in a gang, or unless you're doing something that's going to end up being negative for you. So if you can have the more positive people around these kids believing in them, kids will do what they believe in. So if you make them believe that there's somebody special, a lot of times they'll rise to the occasion and be special. But those are the little things that I try to do to have a teachable and coachable spirit. Because just being a positive person, most kids just want a positive person around them. What do you think?
Well, and the positivity, we as coaches especially, I always say, this isn't necessarily the academics, but it's everything in life. How we handle our losses defines us better than how we handle our wins. And it's kind of the same way when you're dealing with the kids academically. The other thing I want to piggyback on, the parents are so important, and if the parents are there, and if they've been reading to the child in the primary grades and they've been doing all the things that are necessary, that's great. But as you know, Coach, a lot of times we become the parent.
Right.
We have to act as the parent, and we have to do a lot of it. And so I think it's so important that they see a coach that is telling them over and over again, college is a goal that's out there, but you have to work to attain it. And so I think it's very important that we act in lieu of the parents if the parents are not picking up the responsibility to push the kid towards academics. So all of this is going to happen for the student athlete, but they're going to have confidence if they're going to be able to make it in the future. So, Coach, what do you have to say about instilling confidence in the student athletes?
Yeah, a lot of times confidence to me just comes from doing something over and over and over, just like on the court or, like I said, in the classroom. So really, the kids just need to practice. The more you practice and you be serious about what you're doing, I think confidence just happens to come. And confidence doesn't mean just boasting about who you are and bragging on yourself. I like quiet confidence. Where I walk in and I don't have to say anything to anybody, but everybody know Coach King's in the gym. And when the ball goes up, Coach King's going to take over the show as much as I can. See what I'm saying? So confidence just comes from doing something all the time and trying to do it well and understanding I'm going to mess up sometime, but I'm going to keep getting better. I'm going to have an attitude towards whatever I'm doing in life, I'm going to get better and I'm going to be serious about it. And I think the more you do that, confidence just exudes out of you.
Yes, and I think what you said there hits a note with me. I always try to be a positive role model in every way I can with the student athletes, and I think us showing our confidence, like I said, in times when things aren't going good with the program, when you've lost a couple games in a row, when you've lost a kid to academics. In my district, you can be out for 2 weeks if your grades just go down right now, and so we may lose one of our players for a couple weeks, but we make sure that the other players understand that we're going to move forward with confidence, and we're not going to lose another person to a grade. All the while, we're dealing with the person who has the grade problem, and we're making sure that he understands we got to get that up. We got to find out what the problem is. We've got to work on the problem. We've got to get our grades up. So, yeah, I think confidence is so important, and I think all of these things go, with the motto of Cascade Sports, which is it's all about the student athlete. And so I'm Randy Farris, and I say go hard or go home.
And I'm Eric King, and I want to tell you, like I said, you are worthy of all of your dreams coming true.
I'm IFBB Bikini Pro Cat Williams, and when I'm not working out in the gym, I'm searching the web on Cascade Media and What's Up Kansas City. So make sure you check them out.